professionally. I was emotionally, spiritually, physically bankrupt.
If I sell it now and it becomes good,
you'll kill yourself.
I will kill myself.
I'm gonna slap you so hard across your face, you goddamn coward.
And the winner is...
Picture this. The year is 1976. The year prior, you had nothing. You were broke. You were a nobody. Now, you are sitting front row at the Oscars, about to receive an award for a film you just wrote and starred in. Seems like the perfect night.
Hey, Murray, did your brother know you're hanging out so late?
People don't realize how impressionable and vulnerable when you're young. You are soft clay. And I grew up in a really bad household.
Right.
Meaning my mother and father, they certainly weren't parents. In other words, they said, oh, I can't wait to raise a happy, normal family. My mother would say, the only reason you're here is because the hanger didn't work. You know, your brain is too young to compute. I almost thought she was joking. You're kind of naive and foolish to go, maybe everyone's mother is like this.
Right.
The advice that your character in Rocky received from his dad was advice that you got from your dad in real life.
Yes, you don't have much brain, so you better start using your body.
My father, he's, my old man, he was never too smart. He says to me, you weren't born much of a brain, you know, so you better start using your body, right? So I've become a fighter.
I would hearken parents to be very careful what they program their child with. Because I was a rather rambunctious child and I had an attention span deficit. In other words, I needed a lot of stimulus. I knew I was not cut out for the workforce in a normal way. I just knew my attention span was off. I said, there's something different. So you feel like kind of a misfit. But I did have a sense of humor.
They said, well, have something to fall back on. I go, what? I'm not good at anything other than daydreaming.
Why do you want to fight?
Because I can't sing or dance. Yo.
Fairly presumptuous of you, wasn't it, to expect to be able to star in it, because your career up to then had been small parts, right?
Yeah, that's kind of you to even say small. I was in the background, or the guy that was the drunk that was being stepped over in the gutter, and other lame roles.
Because I was always being cast as kind of the heavy. I was the one that would mug Jack Lemmon. I mugged Woody Allen. I was the mugger. I remember Woody Allen goes through a crowd. He goes, God, he looks like a thug. And I was picked out of like 100 people to chase Woody Allen and beat him up.
I had to go out and try to sell my dog because it was either do that or he just was not going to be very well fed around the house.
At that time, I must admit, my life was definitely on the wane, at least professionally. I was emotionally, spiritually, physically bankrupt.
Come on, get your head on your shoulders, man. Think about the fight,
I used to sit in this little apartment, and it was a room. As a matter of fact, the room was so small, I remember I was able to open up the window and close the door while sitting on the bed at the same time.
I would find myself just sitting there procrastinating.
He's trying to hurt you. Okay, here he comes. Jab!
And then I would get up in the mirror and I'd look at myself. I said, you know what you are? You're a lazy piece of shit.
He's jabbing! He's trying to hurt you!
I hate shit guts. You'd rather sit there and do nothing. You know, I could coward.
He's hooking! Damn, Ron, come on!
I said, sit down. I'm gonna slap you so hard across your face, you goddamn coward.
What's the matter with you?
Tomorrow.
Go and sit on that goddamn chair and do what you can do. I don't give a shit if it's bad. Get on the table.
Yeah.
It's kind of sometimes when you see a coach.
Do it tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow! There is no tomorrow!
Yeah.
Go berserk on a player because he knows that player has it in him.
So I started to write. And it was one of those writing frenzies.
There is no tomorrow!
You might say I had quite a bit of fuel to sit down and write the script. I wrote the script in about 3.5 days, and only because I could hear the wolf at the door, literally.
It took 3 days, of which 90% was terrible.
But you had the format. You had
How did you write? You write longhand or
longhand? I write long.
The more I thought about this kind of street-like character that just is totally misrepresented by the way he looks physically. He kind of looks like a bully, or looks like a dark kind of character. And I thought, that's an interesting character because they're always unrealized.
It's every artist that's wanted to do something that has not been able to do it because of the inability to get a break. So I took the opportunity to write this particular film, of course, being somewhat selfish because I had myself in mind for it.
Was it hard to convince, the people who were putting up the money that you should be the person playing it? Did people doubt? Like, how about the rest of the cast? Did they have any doubts in you?
100%. I doubted myself, sure.
You say, I want to be the star of this movie.
Right.
And they go, look, man, you're nobody.
That's true.
You were struggling. You didn't have a dime to your name.
Getting right down to scraping the old bottom of the barrel.
I was broke. When I say broke, I mean broke.
You were offered $300,000 to sell the script to Rocky, to have somebody else be in the role. You said, no, it has to be me.
So they said, are you crazy? This is ridiculous money, $360,000 by standards back then.
What they didn't count on is when a person hasn't had that type of money, they really don't miss it. In other words, if you haven't ridden in a Rolls Royce, you don't mind bouncing around in a Volkswagen.
I really mastered the method of living on nothing, of eating basically cobwebs. If I sell it now and it becomes good,
You'll kill yourself.
I will kill myself. I would have never forgiven myself for the rest of my life.
My one love was to at least fail on my own terms. I wanted to see if I could act, because all these bit parts that you're talking about, you really couldn't say.
You have a few crossroads in your life, and I just realized that if I was ever going to be successful or at least true to my dreams, this is the part.
Well, why not? All right, we'll give them a chance, and they put a lot of clauses in the contract, like if I fell in love with my leading man, or if, if I curse a nun, or if I don't brush my teeth, or whatever, I could be removed.
Basically, if you like spit on the ground, we can replace you. There was a 14-day thing where we can fire you anytime if you do anything wrong, and if you can do the thing in under 30 days, okay. If not, it's over. So
did you shoot the whole thing in
28 days?
28 days, the whole first Rocky?
The whole thing.
On that first day of shooting, when you step out of your caravan or dressing room or whatever, was there never a moment when you thought, my God, am I doing the right thing?
Oh, yeah. Up until that time, I was bluffing. Yeah, I can act. I'm a good actor. Just give me a chance. Of course I can do it. I can out-act anybody. Don't worry about it. Then they said, okay, do it. They called my bluff. There was tremendous fear. And when that fear subsided was at the last second, as I was going out of the trailer, stepping out of the trailer, I passed this mirror. I said, all right, now you're going to do it, or you're going to sit here and become a bum for the rest of your life. What do you, are you into the character? Are you the character? And someone outside said, all right, Sylvester, let's go. I said, no, you got the name wrong. It's Rocky.
Get 10 Academy Award nominations. You're nominated for Best Scriptwriter and Best Actor.
You were nominated for both writing the screenplay and acting that year. Only two other people, Charlie Chaplin and Orson Welles, have ever been nominated in those two categories in the same year.
And the winner is Rocky, Irwin Winkler and Robert Chardoff, producers.
Did you expect to win the Academy Award?
No, not at all.
And to all the Rockies in the world, I love you.
Remember that perfect night we talked about? Take it from Stallone. Looks can be deceiving.
A year before, I was destitute. I had nothing. I was broke, and it came out, and a miracle happened. They gave me a front row seat, and I invited my mother. You want me to go with you? I go, I'm up for an Oscar. Yesterday, I was a bum a year ago. She goes, all right, but you have to invite Vivian. I go, who's Vivian? She goes, my hairdresser. I don't have a seat for your hairdresser. It's you and me. Front row at the Oscars. He goes, gosh. If you don't invite Vivian, I'm not coming. I go, you haven't seen Vivian in 10 years. She lives in Washington, D.C. He says, I want to see Vivian with me, and then I'll go. Well, she didn't go.
So you just went alone?
Mm-hmm.
So were you all of a sudden amazed and astounded, and what did all of a sudden your high school friends call you up and say, yeah, I really knew you were great, can you give me a job?
Of course, everyone, all the backslappers were there. It was mystifying, and also it emboldened me in a negative way too.
because I said, I told you, instead of that kind of thing. See? And I think I swung that pendulum way too far to the obnoxious.
Did you expect to win the Academy
No,
Award?
not at all. Because actually every film back then was kind of a statement film. And then there's Rocky, which is no statement really. It's just about a man wanting to have a little bit of respect and love.
And what about the Rocky? Are there going to be any more stories about Rocky, films about Rocky?
I think that this type of character cannot be extinguished after one movie. He's right at the peak, and entering into that second phase is almost as interesting as the first.
But after all these successes, at some point, people say to you, well, maybe you're too old to play these parts, and all of a sudden your agent says, maybe we can't help you as much. You're seen as a washed-up actor by some.
So this very strange, unusual pattern began that I have not seen in anyone else's career, of these incredible peaks and valleys and peaks and valleys. And
this must have taken its toll. I mean, one would worry about it.
It did. And it was quite a while that not many very good A directors wanted to work with me. I don't think Stallone can act, or maybe he can act, but he doesn't do the kind of performance we want.
Never gave yourself a chance to act in a lot of those.
Yes, exactly.
I felt so useless, really useless. You've been to the top and wow, that was a rough time. I was so embarrassed because people did not understand Rocky V.
Rocky V?
0.
No, was it that bad, Rocky V?
Yeah, it was bad. But I just wanted to end Rocky Balboa on a positive note. I wasn't happy with the fifth one at all. And I literally spent 10 years trying to eat all the negatives, and I couldn't do it. So I thought I have to make another one.
How do you feel? Do you feel still competitive? Is there stuff in the basement? I go, yeah, but I just have to do it age appropriate.
So as you look back on your career, what would you say you're most proud of?
I was most proud of Rocky Balboa, the sixth one, because that was done with such skepticism, and I was at my career low.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it.
Nobody wanted to do it. I felt so worthless.
My career wasn't doing very well. That's 10 years of making potholders in Miami, so I wasn't doing much.
But they were nice.
They were very, very good.
You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
I said, if I can just go back and do one more. I came up with this idea at 59, 60 years old to play Rocky as a boxer and this and that. And they said, this is absurd. Nobody wanted to do it. And they actually said, you're done. Rocky's done. And I did that thing I told you about in the mirror, and I said, you come back, you fight, you get off your knees, you stop feeling sorry for yourself, and you write the best words you've ever written, and I think it is, by far.
Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Rocky VI is the best that I can't do any better.
And then the most recent one is like a blockbuster. It does huge business, and that's amazing when you think the lifespan of that film character, really.
With 6 Rocky movies, 2 spin-off films, and a parody I made with my family back in 2014.
Oh, God, kid. He hammered the hell out of you.
Stallone and the character of Rocky will live on forever. That, to me, is a win.
Rocky never expected to win. He knew it. He was that much of a realist.
They were going to cut the scene, the most important scene, on the scene where I go to the arena and I come back and I tell Agent, I cannot win.
Can't do it.
Impossible. He's great. I'm not.
What?
I can't beat him.
But if I can just survive, if I can stand up, then I know I'm worth something.
If I can still be standing on my feet, you know what? Then life isn't so bad.
That's all I want to do is go to distance.
They said, we can't do that. I said, you have to do this. They said, we'll give you one take.
I want to know for the first time in my life, see? that I weren't just another bum from the neighborhood. It's so important to know that you're not always going to come out first, but you just want to be able to say, I did the best I can.
I felt that, geez, if I was going to go down, at least into professional obscurity, I wanted to at least have the opportunity to say to myself, well, you tried. You put your best foot forward and you didn't make it.
I think it's a really important life lesson that we all can't be champs, but we can be contenders.
You did, kid. I told you you could do it.
Yeah.
Now go get some clothes on. You're making me nauseous.
Okay.